I was already installing garden lighting in around about 2014 under a company name called Greenlight. And it was there that I then learnt through a contact called Dave Milson from garden lighting design. He was very big in the 1980s and 1990s with actually installing 12-volt lighting. He had his own company, but at this time he was designing lighting, and I bumped into him round about that time. And so for the next 3 or 4 years we worked together on several projects, and he mentored me through the garden lighting business, really, so that as an installer I started learning more about various products and how to design garden lighting. It was about this time that Greenlight then grew into a company where we had installers, and we found that when we was doing our own designs at this time, we were finding that a garden, because it had so many variables, we was going from deck lights to marker lights to lights in water to lighting unusual features and statues and lighting massive great trees. We couldn't find one lighting manufacturer that gave us the complete range. So for example, we'd have to go to company A to buy the mains voltage lights to light the big trees. We would have to go to company B to pick out the nice wall lights they'd done, company C to get the various spike spots that we needed, but they only had spike spots, for example, up to a certain wattage, and if we needed a bigger wattage we'd have to go to a fourth company. And we found that these companies, you couldn't really interact the wiring. So one would be mains voltage, one would be parallel wired, one would be series wired. One set of lights from a company would have to use a certain type of driver, from another company would have to use another type of driver. So we're carrying loads and loads of stock for all these different variables. We also found that although we was buying lights that were warm white, 3000K value, we found, because they come from different manufacturers, when we switched on, there was a slight difference. It was very subtle, but a few clients did actually pick it out, and that put us in a very difficult situation. So it was around that time, it was 2016 by now, we picked out an LED lighting factory in Foshan in China. We'd done a lot of homework, picked a good factory. We actually flew out there and spent a week in the factory with the manager and his workforce. And we had, by this time we'd had a lot of experience as garden lighting installers, and we had something like a 20-point tick list. And we produced this lighting range and the accessories while we was there for that week. It was a lot of brainstorming, a lot of questions and answers. A lot of the stuff got thrown out the mix, and that is where Nitelux was actually born.